Hey, welcome everybody to the channel. I'm Doug, the retirement guy with the monthly ETFs. This one here, we have the YieldMax Monthly Dividend ETFs Group B. We got a review of all 12 of them. We do this every month that we try to give you the update on each one of the groups to show you the ins, the outs, the positives, and hopefully help you prepare for the future. So let's get into today's video. And before we do that, we want to ask everyone, if you're not part of the family, if you're not part of our channel, don't be afraid to join. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. You don't want to miss a single one of our videos. We try to give you all the information that will help grow your portfolio. Let's get into today's video. Let's take a look now at the monthly pay ETFs growth of the funds. So we got the 12 funds right here. And the first one we want to take a serious look at is going to be, in the one in the green, is the Tesla. And that is going to be YMAX's Tesla Option Income Strategy. This fund is up 13.19% over the past 30 days. It's had a little rocky road this past week at negative 13.16. But when we take a look at the two, Tesla is definitely well below the 4-week running average by about 25 cents. And, it is just down 5.20% for the year to date. So very, very strong piece, I believe, right there. The second one to look at is going to be the YieldMax TSM option income, the TSMY. This thing has a 30-day growth of 10.25. It's actually above the 4-week average. And, it's looking at a negative 17.97% in the total growth of the year. Now, a lot of the stuff you got to remember, we have the April 2nd tariffs that you have to fight back through to recover to recover from that. And as you can see, some have or gotten close, some have not. The other third one is going to be OARK, the YieldMax Innovation Option Income Strategy. Again, that one is up 6.81% over 30 days. And it's traveling just about 40 cents above the 4-week average. So we got some strong movers. We got some things moving in the right direction. This past week, they've all had an issue of, gathering some income in the funds, but overall, you have three very, very positive ones. And as you can see, over the period of time, most of them are actually in a positive zone, in an upward position, which is what we want to see. Let's get into now is the dividends, because this means everything. This is the money, this is your income coming into this. And number one is going to be RBL. That's the YieldMax RBLX option income strategy. This one paid the most, and this is why it gets the reward first, is it paid the most in dividends at $2.07. Now it is down from last month's dividend of $3.01, and it's also kind of up over the average. So what we always want to look at is we want to see, are we having a trend? So we look at last month's dividend to this month's dividend, up or down. Then we compare those to what the rolling average is. So what it really tells me here is RBL is really getting back to just its normal average dividend. We are up about 20, about 20 cents. So it's really right back into, in its dividend now is about equal to what we expect to get it to. So nothing out of ordinary. So we take the second place one is going to be SNOY, the YieldMax SNOW option income strategy. Now this is where we show some big things here. You got $1.21, or excuse me, $1.12 compared to 44 cents last month. So that's a huge difference between the two. Now we want to take a look at the average dividend, which is 82 cents. So it kind of puts it, right in that game plan, about 30 cents difference between the two. So last month definitely was a drop off. This month is a makeup for last month and getting back to the averages. So I think this is probably a safe dividend to look at. The third one is going to be FEAT, which is YieldMax Dorsey Wright Featured 5 Income. And again, this one is up over last month, about 15 cents, and it's falling just a little bit above the average. So, I would say we always want to make sure we look at the average and look according. So it's a nice solid number. The other thing that we look at is the year-to-date numbers. And SNY, 87.96%, strong return there. And then we get a Google, the GOOY, YieldMax Google option income is 66.73%. And then finally the Tesla at 65.77. So why do we look at these numbers? Well, we want to see how much income we're getting. We want to see the year-to-date yield. How much is it producing as income? And we want to make sure we can believe and solidly control those dividends. I would hate to see one that basically is overpaying or underpaying, and then we want to figure out why. The one I show you the most is TSMY, and that one right there was a paid $1 last month, and it's only 38 cents this month, and an average of 67 cents. So it is almost literally half the price of the actual average. So we want to keep an eye on. We would want to keep an eye on that. Is if it's going to continue with a low end dividend, maybe it's time to make a move out, or figure out what's going on with that fund. That's why we tell everybody always do your research, understand what you're buying into. So let's take a look into this now, and that's going to be the what we call the dividend income ratio. So what we use with this one here is fairly simple. And I always say, let's math tell us good, bad, or ugly. So what you want to do is you take the dividend divided by the price of the share, and to find out how much of that price is from the share price. What is that dividend? How much of it is from the share? So what you always want to do on these things is the higher the dividend number, the higher the return is on the volume of the price of the share. So right off the bat, the very first one, NSOY, the SNOY program, 7.12%. So 7% of the dividend of the price comes to you in dividend. Now this is a number that we track. This is how it shows how much income we're actually generating. So this is extremely high. When we get into monthlies, realistically, we're trying to see something in about the 4% range. That basically means we're getting 1% per month, or excuse me, 1% per week per month. So as long as we're getting 4 and above, we're doing very well. Anything below that, I hate to tell you, but it's not a big excitement piece for myself. I don't think we're getting enough income back in when we're below 4. So someone getting 7%, it's 3% above what I will accept. So very, very strong number there. The Google side of it, that one came in with the 69 cents. That's 5.10%. So that's almost a 1% increase over what our basis net point is. Same thing with the CRSH, and that's the short Tesla. That's an interesting one, and I expect that to be playing fairly well. That's at 5%. So, again, you're about 1.5 percentage points above what our basis line is. So you're definitely getting more than 1% per week. So overall, that's the factor that we want to use. FEAT, the Dorsey Wright one, is just a hair under, just missed out on the top 3 at 4.94%. And then the Tesla TSLY came in at 4.62, again, just a hair out of the top 3, and basically 0.62% higher than what we want to see. So it's a positive on that one. Now, the one thing I will say, what gets me right now is CRSH, the short Tesla, only at $3 a share. That one would always make me curious, what's going on. We'd do more research, deeper research onto that one to find out. Is it going to get down so low that it'll split? Is it going to go down, reverse splits? Let me clarify that. Or is it just holding on its own? So these are the things you start questioning when you see these actual numbers. So the next one we're going to take a look at here is going to be return on investment. So if you're not familiar at all with this, I'm going to tell you up front, I do this for 99% of my investments, I do a return on investment from dividends. What I'm trying to do here is to find out if I put $10 into a stock or into a fund, how quickly am I going to get back that $10 so I can get my money back out of it. Once I do that, the fund becomes a complete cash cow that I'm just going to sit back, collect the dividends, and live life like no tomorrow. So these are the things that you want to look at. So the very first one that comes up on the green is CRSH. Now I will tell you, we have a policy that I've always stuck with. This one is in monthly stocks. I want to see 2 years or less. So in 2 years, I'm willing to invest in a stock and wait 2 years to get my full investment back. Anything over that, I'm probably sitting on the sidelines, or it's going to have to be something very, very special to do it. So if you take a look at this now, if the dividend average holds, these are what you're going to run into. So we look at CRSH again. That thing has a 49-cent average dividend. It's got a $3 share price. That means in 6 months, I'd have all my money back without even questioning it. So this is a home run. This is something immediately. Yep, no problem. Go for it. Invest. Then you sit back and say, is it too good to be true? Let's rethink this. So what you do is you find out, first step, how strong and how real is that dividend? Now this dividend is 49-cent average over the entire year to date. So that could be up to 10 months old. Now I start looking at this and saying, hold it, the last 2 months have only been 12 cents and 16 cents, well below the average dividend. So immediately I have a warning signs, time out, time out, time out. Maybe we need to do this with using a 16-cent, or maybe doing it off of 14 cents, which would be the average of the past 2 dividends. That would change this number dramatically off of a $3 fund. So these are what the warning signs I tell you. Even though you take these numbers, you have to do research. You have to dive deeper into it. But here, would you rather do diving in on 3 funds versus 12 funds? It helps you get to where you're at. And we try to give you the information up front. And we try to give you this information each and every month on our Patreon group. So here's where the next one we move to, and that's going to be the Tesla option income. We look at this one at $8.49. And now we look at that being 1 year or 15 months or 1 year and a quarter. So now, as long as with the dividend checks out, that's probably something well worth looking into. Then the next one is SNOY, the SNOY option income at 82 cents with a $15.84 fund. The return on it is 19 months. That's a year and a half. Those are 3 very strong winners. I think once we do the research on the short Tesla, we're going to find out that's not a winner. I don't think that's going to be realistic. Like I said, try to do it with 14 cents per month. So that's over 2 years in my book. So that would probably fall out of the category. That's what you want to do. That's why we kind of show these things and we talk about these things, is to give you a better way of educating yourself and looking at funds in a different way. Now we go into total return. If anything at all, if you do anything at all, this is the number 1 page to watch and look at. And the reason for it is, no matter what you do, the numbers won't lie. You can tell me all you want that you're getting 87% off of SNOY. You're getting the SNOY option. I'm making 87% dividend. Oh, great. Oh, great. It's like going to Vegas. I went into Vegas, and I'll tell you straight out, I won $3,000 in Vegas. When I left my home to go to Vegas, I had $2,000 in my pocket. When I went to Vegas and came home, I had $3,000 in my pocket. How much money did I actually make? I know this is an education. This is a 5-year-old story, but basically, you only made $1,000. That's what this does. You can look at the year-to-date dividends, and they are solid, big numbers. But then you have to take a look at the year-to-date growth, because you have to feed that back into the monster and then get your total returns. Number one, SNOW. SNOY is the ticker number. 87.96% dividend yield. Phenomenal. It only has a negative 4.93% yield growth. So it's not much off of it. So you're really at an 83% total return. Thumbs up. Awesome deal. Tesla, 65.77, down 5.20, 60.57%. Another strong gambler. And then the next one is GOOY, YieldMax Google option at 66.73, down 4% for a 62.74%. So that gives you some strong pieces. There's 3 items right there. You could easily go search, do some research, find out how strong the dividend is, look what the performance has been. This is pretty accurate right on what we have. So it tells you what your total return is. Does this fit your portfolio? Do you like being in one stock funds, or do you want to be in multiple funds? Is Google a good player? Is Tesla going to be a good player? These are the things you start researching on. So we're going to give you guys as the top 5 picks. We're going to try to give you some aids to help you along that you can research. Instead of researching 12, we're going to get you down to 5. Number 5, I think, is FEAT. This thing has a 36% total return. It has a strong income with a 4% dividend ratio. So I give this thing something, go look at it. Take a serious look at it. And when I say look at, these are not 5 picks that are going to say go buy these. We're not going to do the work for you. We're not going to tell you to turn around, go buy these and walk away and be done. What I want you to do is I want you to research it like I showed you with the short Tesla. Research it. Is the dividend solid? What's the growth factor? What does the future look like? We want to give you some information onto it. RBLY is number 4, 46% total return. Again, another one driving in that 4%. So we got to have 4% or higher in that dividend return or dividend ratio. And then we want to see a total return that's growing. So we know we have good income. We have a good solid either a dividend that's got enough to cover any losses in the growth, and a piece that will fit our portfolio. Number 3 is going to be the Tesla. 60% total return, 15 months return on investment. This is why it became number 3. 15 months I can get my money back. I'm interested. I want to take a serious look at it. How true is that 15 months? How true is the dividend? How true is the return? Let's do our analysis onto it. Number 2 is the Google, GOOY, 62% total return, income 5% on that dividend ratio. So again, it's looking great. Now, will it fit the return on investment program that I like to use? Don't know. But we'll do the legwork. This is the things to look for. And number 1, I believe our strong number 1 winner is SNOY. And SNOY to me wins if everything works. 83% total return, 19 months on return on income, 7% DR rating. I'm telling you, I think this is hands down probably the number 1 pick out of all 12, and that's why it became number 1, and it's the first one I do heavy research on to find out, will this fit into my portfolio? Will it match what your decisions are, your risk factors? How do you want it to happen?
Thank you for watching. Press the like button, hit the subscribe button, and join. Leave any comments below and join our Patreon to support the channel. I'm Doug, the Retirement Guy.